I think that's a relationship that has to go both ways, to the elected official to young people and vice versa, young people to the elected official. I'm the mother of a 20-year-old, and so I rely pretty heavily on my conversations with her and her peers to understand what people who are coming out of college are experiencing now, and the fears, the stress, their desire to get a job, and the difficulty in the job market, and the other issues like quality of life issues for them. They want to be able to live independently, maybe move out of their parents' homes. They don't necessarily want to buy a car. That's why, public transportation is so very important, and to further the construction of the light rail system is absolutely critical, so we can tie this whole city together so that eventually we're going to have a city where you don't need a car 100% of the time to get around. And I think that should be the objective, not just for ourselves, but for them too, to build a city for the 20 and 30-year-olds now, so that as we mature, they'll have a better city. And then I think it's really important to understand where they're going, the emerging careers that they're studying, where their interests lie, what our city is lacking, and what kinds of jobs we have to fight to bring here so that they will have opportunities here at their doorstep so that they can go and qualify. And the other piece of that is K through 12 and then on through college. We have to educate everybody's child as if they will exercise the option to have a 4-year education so that everybody has the same chance to compete. Well, first priority is an understanding we cannot tax our way out of this recession. I believe we have to build our way out of this recession. That's why I support, look for, engage, push ahead on projects that will bring large numbers of new jobs to the city of Los Angeles, and jobs at all skill levels so that people have an opportunity to apply for those jobs. I work with nonprofits to engage people who are disadvantaged and may not be in the mainstream job market, to be able to pull those people along too. And some examples are LA Live and the Nokia and the JW Marriott, and 2 new hotels coming, so that we can capitalize on what we have here. There's a short-term solution, and that is travel, tourism, new convention center, perhaps a new stadium, and so we can bring in more conventions, more exhibitions, more activities where people will spend their money at hotels and restaurants, and thus, generate more revenue and more job opportunities for the people who live here. And as we do that, we have to make sure that we actually hire our folks who live, in the city of Los Angeles, and give these young people a chance to be able to compete for these jobs. First issue that I would absolutely focus on with everything that I've got is the budget. And then this budget story is going to continue to evolve. We don't know what the state will do in terms of balancing their budget on our backs, and what conflict we may engage in to not only protect our city interests, but to make sure that we're not forced into an untenable position. So that's number one. Number two is job retention and bringing in new jobs through development and growing our own economy through our own efforts, and not relying on Washington, D.C. or someplace else to help us bring ourselves out of this. We have to bring ourselves out of this. And I guess the other issue that I really would like to talk about a lot more is building housing that is affordable for people at different income levels, but to do it on transportation, along transportation lines. I'll tell you an interesting story. I was at an architecture firm 2 weeks ago, and it was very interesting to talk to people who were in their 30s, and they were architects already. They were very excited about the opening of the exposition line, and several of them said to me that they were going to look for houses that they could buy along the exposition line and then fix up, because they're architects, they know how to do it, and then they were going to get rid of their cars. That's exactly what we want people to do, is to feel that, if the proper transportation alternatives are provided, that people will get out of their cars and they will try to have a different kind of a life. And I'd like to talk about that a lot more, especially with younger people. I would like to hear very much, what their aspirations are, what they think is important, and focus on that, because we are building a city for the future. Quite frankly, not your age, but for people my age, in 20 years, people are living longer, they're living healthier, but 20, 30 years from now, as we live longer, and you'll be watching out for us. We have to understand our context and how we fit in the state and in the country, and also where we fit in the global economy. And as we move forward to not only build our infrastructure to accommodate the population that we have here, and as we move forward in the debate about what type of renewable energies we bring to the city and how ratepayers are going to pay for that, and that we have to be fully forthcoming in disclosing what that means, I'm excited about that level of civic engagement. And I think that it's important for young people to participate because they bring the ability to gather and process information in a manner that is very different than it was when I was growing up. So someone asked me once, what's my greatest hope? I think my greatest hope is to observe, I guess it's the millennial generation, to learn from the millennial generation, because you've been raised without the baggage that we had. And information is something gathering information quickly and processing it and gathering it from different sources. You don't have any hesitation about doing that. I think it's something that we can learn a lot from you.